you know, you don't have a lot, but you try to come and have fun, live life, you know.
The nation's economy versus the valleys. Tonight, why the bad may not be as bad as you thought.
This is First News 3 at 4 with Kendall, Tenney, and Beth Fisher.
Good afternoon. The feds have done it again. Interest rates have been slashed for the 7th time this year.
They're hoping by cutting another 0.25%, people will start spending more. The Las Vegas Strip thrives on people spending money. You're looking at a live picture now from Sky 3. Whether it's gambling or just going out for a nice dinner, we need folks coming here and spending their cash. News 3's Kim Capozzo is live down on the Strip. And Kim, you found out today that people cut back where they can, but their vacation is the last thing to go.
That's exactly right, Beth. Hello from above. Here on the ground, I actually had people tell me today that they'd rather cut out their M&Ms and other small indulgences so they could keep their big treat every year, and that is their vacation. In fact, many said it's not just a luxury, it's a necessity. They're walking, they're shopping, they're pointing. More importantly, they're vacationing right here in Las Vegas.
I think it provides an outlet for stress when people just want to get away for a few days and enjoy themselves, leave the problems behind.
Signs of an economic slowdown hard to find here on the Strip.
Vegas is one of those products that's less sensitive to the business cycle. It's kind of like alcohol or tobacco consumption. When you compare Vegas to all other areas of hospitality, and if you broaden it further to all areas of the U.S. economy, I would say Vegas is probably one of the few bright spots out there.
Economists say typically vacations are the last thing to be cut from the budget. However, statistics show this year's Vegas vacation isn't exactly typical in some areas.
You're just in time for another spectacular Las Vegas sunrise.
Occupancy rates have remained very strong, but the gaming win growth has been relatively modest.
People hitting the jackpot in overall value rather than high-stakes gambling.
Good deals because it's the casinos and stuff, so they give you a good price, you know, hotel and airfare, so not bad.
Not bad. Heard that a few times down here today. Also, one man visiting here from Florida told me this is the most inexpensive vacation he's ever taken, but he also did tell me that he doesn't gamble unless he feels like a drink. So that may explain why gambling revenues are flat this year. I'm Kim Capozzo reporting live from the Strip. Beth, back to you in the studio.
A lot of people playing nickel slots to get a cheap drink. Thanks, Kim. Well, we know why the Strip stays alive during tough economic times, but what about the rest of Vegas? Coming up tonight at 6, find out if vacant office space and blank billboards are a sign of things to come.
Well, this tough economy hitting a lot of people all over the country. We wanted to know specifically how Las Vegans' personal finances are now compared to a year ago. Our exclusive News 3 Listens Insta poll found 37% of Las Vegans have more debt today than they did last year. But a smaller number, 28%, have actually eliminated some of their debt in the last year. 34% have about the same amount, according to the results from Survey USA. People between the ages of 35 and 54 were the most likely to have added to their debt in the last year. Coming up at 6 o'clock, find out how your neighbor's savings accounts look compared to last year.
President Bush is defending his tax cuts. He says they're the best way to boost our slow economy. Democrats, though, say the cuts come at the expense of Social Security and Medicare.
We have fully funded and will be able to fully fund our nation's priorities.
New budget numbers are expected to show the surplus has fallen from the $284 billion projected in April to nearly $160 billion. And in TV ads, Democrats accuse the Bush administration of raiding Medicare and maintain the government will have to use money from Social Security to pay its bills. But despite all the accusations, President Bush says the surplus is still the second largest in history.
Some Las Vegans' personal budgets are being stretched because of high rents they have to pay each month. A new census survey finds more than half of Americans pay anywhere from $300 to $750 a month in rent for either a house or an apartment. And we checked to see how that compares to rent prices here in the Valley. Here's what we found. The average monthly rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in southern Nevada is $755. A 2-bedroom house goes for around $1,150 a month. Local real estate agents and apartment finders say rent here in the valley has gone up in the past year.
Fire investigators are closer to finding the cause of last week's huge fire in the west part of town. Investigators gathered 20 canisters of evidence from the scene. The fire burned more than a dozen homes in an area near Durango and Peace Way. You remember these dramatic pictures. Fire investigators believe it started at a construction site just behind the homes. The samples will be analyzed at a lab now, and we could know in a few weeks what started the blaze.
One of America's 10 most wanted is off the streets this afternoon. An accused pedophile who was at one time a member of John Cougar Mellencamp's band was arrested in Thailand. The FBI describes Eric Franklin Rosser as an admitted child molester, wanted in connection with the international production, distribution, and exchange of child pornography. Police arrested him in a residential section of northern Bangkok. Rosser once played keyboards for John Mellencamp.
The FBI says for 6 years, popular giveaway games at McDonald's restaurants were rigged.
Investigators say employees of a company that helped run the game operated a scam that netted millions of dollars. Jim Hanchett has the story of how the alleged scheme worked.
You pick the prize, it says at McDonald's, but Attorney General Ashcroft says for 6 years, this man picked the people who won $13 million in big prizes in McDonald's promotions.
This fraud scheme denied McDonald's customers a fair and equal chance of winning. We want those involved in this type of corruption to know that breaking the law is not a game.
Investigators say the scam worked like this. McDonald's contracted with Simon Marketing to distribute winning game pieces to restaurants across the country. Instead, the FBI says Simon's security chief, Jerry Jacobson of Lawrenceville, Georgia, recruited family and friends to go to McDonald's and claim the cash. Last year, one of those phony winners tipped the FBI. McDonald's executives say they had no idea their games were rigged.
No McDonald's employees were involved in any way. The FBI has made it clear that McDonald's was betrayed by a longtime supplier in a highly sophisticated inside game of fraud and deception.
McDonald's says it will no longer do business with Simon Marketing. At midday, employees at its Georgia office were seen locking up and leaving. And McDonald's says it will make good on those prizes, giving away at least $10 million in a new game. Jim Hanchett, NBC News, Washington.
The FBI says the rigged games were based on the board game Monopoly and the TV show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So far, 8 people are under arrest in what the FBI is calling Operation Final Answer.
I thought I was close to winning a couple of times. Former President Bill Clinton is here in the Valley tonight. Earlier today, he spoke to a group of women in town for a vitamin convention. Clinton is reportedly staying at the Four Seasons Hotel, and it's there that he will also preside over a $10,000 a plate Democratic fundraiser before he leaves town on Friday. This is Clinton's second post-presidential visit to Vegas.
Some of President Bush's top administrators pledged to help keep Lake Tahoe blue at today's Tahoe summit. EPA Administrator Christy Whitman toured the lake with state leaders. She was not on the jet ski, though. She says the Bush administration will continue to pursue the goals of the Lake Tahoe Restoration Act by providing technical expertise, monitoring, and research. Lake Tahoe is losing about a foot of clarity each year, largely because of runoff that hastens the growth of algae.
The fate of some wild horses is being debated. The horses live around the small community of Cold Creek, about 50 miles northwest of Vegas. The U.S. Forestry Service is concerned the herd is growing too large, overgrazing the land and causing minor problems for people in Cold Creek. That's why experts are deciding what to do, adopt the animals out or simply relocate some of them. Some residents agree the animals are beautiful but should be better controlled.
It's good to have that novelty. You don't see them all the time, but when you do see them, you appreciate more, you know? Too much of anything is bad, you know?
And it's estimated more than 200 wild horses live in that Cold Creek area.
They're beautiful to look at. I've camped out in that area. Let's check on traffic now with Tom Hawley up in Sky 3.
Kendall, we've talked, of course, a lot about all the work at Sayre and I-15, and with good reason. It's causing huge mess. But also another project just behind that area is now approaching completion down here at Rancho and Tenney. Now, Tenney didn't used to come around all this way. It used to just come off the side parallel to Rancho by the Palace Station. Instead, motorists came up Kings Way. Kings Way, as we told you a couple of weeks ago, is going to be abandoned, and it is going to be replaced with this new Teddy Drive, which is now open. hooking into Rancho. This other land in between the two will eventually be claimed by Palace Station, although they don't yet have official plans on what they are going to do with it. For the time being, both streets are open, so you pays your money, you takes your choice. Either way, you can get behind the Palace Station for the time being, but eventually Kingsway at the top of your screen will be abandoned and taken over by the Palace Station. Tom Hawley reporting from Sky 3.
From Denver all the way to Mexico, powerful storms are making their way across the country.
We're going to start in Denver, where strong winds ripped through the area, toppling trees and ripping off roofs of buildings. Many residents say they saw a funnel cloud, but officials will not say whether a tornado actually came through there. They say it was most likely just straight line winds.
People down in Cancun, Mexico on vacation are bracing for tropical storm Chantal that soon could become a hurricane. Cruise ships are moving out of the way of Chantal, and hotels are warning their guests of the coming storm. Dr. Jim's been keeping an eye on that, as well as our weather. Joins us from the Weather Center.
Looking great for us as far as the moisture drying out, because the dew points are dropping, but we've got a little wind out there today, and temperatures are still pretty good for this time of the year for us. Let's go ahead and take a look outside from our Mandalay Bay cam. Looking like a beautiful day, mostly sunny, 98 our current temperature. Winds a little breezy, southwest 18, gusting to 25, but only 8% relative humidity. The dew point down into the 20s. Yesterday our dew point was in the 50s. Big change there, and while that's meant good things for us, over in Utah, they've got severe thunderstorm watches in effect. We'll talk more about that coming up with the forecast in just a few minutes.
Is the Valley a good place to raise kids? A new quality of life study sheds some light on just how friendly the Las Vegas Valley is when it comes to children. The Kid-Friendly Cities report card is out, and it has mixed news for Southern Nevada. Overall, Las Vegas gets a B- and ranks 97th out of 239 cities that were ranked. Henderson comes in just a little better, getting a B grade, and North Las Vegas gets a C. Coming up tonight on News 3 at 5, we're going to take a closer look at how these grades were determined and what specific areas are hurting our rankings and which ones are helping.
Well, here at News 3, we've offered up all kinds of ways to save money on gas.
But some folks across the Atlantic have already been saving a lot of cash on fuel.
If somebody drives now a new Audi with that kind of diesel engine, they don't feel the truck feeling anymore.
Better mileage and a better ride. Find out how a popular European trend could be the right choice for your car.
And fear forces the Latin Grammys to change locations. Find out why organizers are so scared of Miami.
Plus, America's party schools.
Why did I come here? To have a good time.
Find out if UNLV made the cut. Coming up on First News 3 at 4, where news comes first.
A constantly changing and powerful force in nature. Chevy's complete line of SUVs, with more models than anyone else, period. Like the spacious and functional Tahoe and Suburban, the most powerful SUV in its class. Become one with nature with 1.9% APR or 1,000 cash back on 2001 Tahoe and Suburban. See dealer for residency and other restrictions. No matter where you go, there's a Chevy SUV ready to tackle just about anything. 1.9 APR at your Southern Nevada Chevy dealer.
Versailles Salon and Day Spa, the #1 beauty salon in Las Vegas. We have top quality and highly experienced hairstylists, corrective color specialists, estheticians, massage therapists, manicurists, permanent makeup artists, a full-service salon featuring Valerie, voted one of New York's top hairstylists, and Jana, our exciting European hair designer. This outstanding staff is right here at Versailles Salon and Day Spa, located at Rainbow and Oakey. Call 252-8882 for a day of relaxation.
Right now, during Mervyn's Super Sale, lots of cool stuff is under $20. Like these jeans, under $20. Of course, if you're one of those people who thinks there must be something wrong with a pair of jeans that cost less than $20, here's the good news. The sale ends Saturday, so you can come back on Sunday and pay full price. Okay? Or not. Mervyn's Super Sale, lots of cool stuff under $20. But hurry, it ends Saturday.
This portion of the news is brought to you in part by Courtesy Automotive Group. For anything automotive, one name says it all.
You're watching Southern Nevada's #1 choice for news. This is First News 3 at 4.
Welcome back. Ask almost anyone who's had a cataract removed how their doctor did it, and they'll tell you with a laser. But in reality, what millions of people believe to be true has not been possible. That is until now. A cataract is a clouding of the lens inside the eye. And now, for the first time, a laser is being used to remove cataracts. Cold laser light goes through a fiber optic to a handpiece with a very thin probe on the end. The laser hits a target in the probe that creates shock waves that actually break up the cataract.
It's a cold laser. It does not create heat and cannot cause a burn. Therefore, from that standpoint, it's a much safer technology.
The advantage to using the laser is that it avoids the possibility of burning the cornea, a potentially serious complication. With school starting soon and the Labor Day holiday fast approaching, the Valley is in need of blood donors to avoid what could become a crisis. Leaders with United Blood Services say they're not at a dangerously low level yet, but it could get that way quickly. Several blood drives have been canceled recently, and with school starting again and an upcoming holiday weekend, they need donors. If you'd like to help out, call the number on your screen, 233-9620. They'll tell you where and when you can donate, and if you donate blood before September 9th, you'll get a free t-shirt. Well, despite all the warnings about diet pills, new research shows people are still taking them. Doctors say there's one main reason why, because the rate of obesity is increasing. Doctors feel the use of non-prescription diet products will only increase in the next few years, so they're trying to learn more about the non-prescription diet products so they can warn consumers about adverse effects.
We talk a lot about the high cost of gas here in Nevada and in the U.S. for that matter, but if you've ever been to Europe, you know we don't have quite as bad prices, or the prices here aren't quite as bad as they are over in Europe, where they hover around $3 a gallon. Now, that's one reason many Europeans are getting rid of their gasoline cars and going with diesel. There are some benefits to diesel engines. They provide plenty of power and more miles per gallon. In fact, 40% more than the same car with a gasoline engine.
Diesel fuel has more power per gallon of fuel. The diesel cycle, the way it burns the engine, gets more power out of that fuel.
You might remember we saw a lot more diesel cars on U.S. roads back in the early 70s, or I should say the 70s and early 80s. But don't hold your breath waiting for a comeback. Environmentalists hate diesel power because it emits 8 times more smog than an ultra-low emission gasoline-powered car.
We have breaking news in the world of weather right now.
That's right. Salt Lake City up in Utah is under a tornado warning right now, and storm spotters have actually seen this thing on the ground. So maybe we'll get some video later on today if there's any damage. Doesn't happen very often in Salt Lake. The last time it was about 2 years ago. They had a tornado that lasted on the ground for only just a few minutes. It did cause some damage there. Now, the weather that's bad there is one of the reasons why the weather's so good here. Not fair, is it? Let's take a look outside right now. As we look from our Rio cam, you can see just a few clouds off in the distance. But the big difference today is that the moisture is gone. Mostly sunny, 98 degrees. Look at the humidity, 8%. 26 degrees for the dew point. Yesterday, folks, our dew point was in the 50s, so half of the moisture is gone today, and I'll show you why in a second. As we look at our live conditions at our Wells Fargo WeatherNet station, Spring Mountains and Jones, 95 degrees, south winds, southwesterly winds, about 10 to 15 miles an hour or so, so not bad in the wind department. Temperatures are still a little bit below our average for this time of the year. We have a big upper level low. I started talking about this yesterday that's now sweeping across Nevada. It's pushing all the moisture away from us into, yes, Utah, where they're having the problems. Our temperatures, though, are, while they're cool for this time of the year, are going to start to warm up after today. 72 right now in Mount Charleston, 92 in Pahrump. But boy, while we have this nice weather, it's just hard to complain. 90s across the valley, only 100-degree reading in Henderson right now, and that's just barely 100 degrees. Well, if you want to see what a tornado looks like on radar, here's your look right now. You can see it right here. This is just in the southern part of Salt Lake City, and you can sort of see how there's a line and just a very small hook. You have to look very closely to see these sorts of things. But your tornado is going to be right on the tail end of that little red spot there. That's where the actually suction in of the thunderstorm is coming in, and that's what the tornado actually is. So that's why there's a tornado warning up in Salt Lake City right now. So our big area of low pressure is just pushing all that moisture with some extra lift in the atmosphere, pushing the big thunderstorms. There's also a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for most of Utah for today. None of that impacting us here at all because it's just moving away. We do have a cold front to the north of us. That's going to bring some rain to the areas where the forest fires have been recently. But before then, we're going to see these winds picking out ahead of it. But overall, that's better news for them as far as bringing the rain to where all those forest fires have been. It's just been a real problem for those folks. As we look at the temperatures now across the area, hey, not too bad for us. 80s, even some 70s here in the state. 100-degree readings back into Arizona. Right now, you can see 75 up in Salt Lake City. Again, some of that rain is cooling the temperatures down. Big problem for them. Las Vegas forecast, 71 for our low tonight, 98 for the high tomorrow. So we're still going to be below the century mark, but not for long after that. Enjoy this little break while we have it. 74 for the low at Lake Mead, 102 for our high. Southwest winds 15 to 25. Breezy in the morning, less wind in the afternoon for you boaters out there. 47 for the low at Mount Charleston, 79 for our high temperature tomorrow. Here is your 5-day outlook. 100-degree readings back by Thursday, 103 on Friday, and our average for this time of the year now is down to 102. Not bad, but we'll keep our eye on Salt Lake City and see what happens over the next half hour or so.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Jim.
Nina's here with what's coming up at 5 o'clock.
Fire can destroy your home in a matter of minutes, and Valley firefighters say there's a big problem that's just fueling those flames.
Bottom line is public safety and the safety of the members of the Clark County Fire Department that are putting their lives on the line every day to help serve this community.
Valley firefighters say they're falling behind other cities when it comes to response time, equipment, and manpower. Find out how they plan to fix the problem.
A mock war is taking place in the skies over southern Nevada on Ben Correa at Nellis Air Force Base. Details about red flag training coming up.
And why some cholesterol-fighting drugs could be putting your life at risk. Hear why the FDA may soon put special warning labels on drugs like Provocol and Lipitor. Plus, teaching your children to budget their money in Jim Snyder's Saving You Money report, coming up tonight on News 3 at 5.
It's going to work for my 4-year-old?
Yeah, he's got it. You got to start him early.
Well, it's time he got a job,
It
too.
is. Get out of the house, for goodness sakes.
Earn his keep.
Thanks, Nina. That's coming up at 5. But first in this newscast, less than a month before the telecast, the Latin Grammys telecast is moved from Miami.
Find out why and where the show will be held now, next on First News 3 at 4.
Baycol alert. New information has been released about the harmful effects of Baycol. If you suffered any side effects, call Bernstein & Associates today at 384-4000.
Sorrel Fowler owns a Hyundai Accent.
I love the accent. It's so cool looking.
Sorrel compared the Accent to the competition.
I researched it on the internet.
It comes with the freedom of America's best warranty and so many features. It's no wonder the Accent has become the best-selling car in its class.
Get a lot for your money.
The Hyundai Accent. It could be the best choice for you, too. The Hyundai Accent. Your test drive is waiting.
Miss Lincoln makes our school great. She makes learning exciting. She tells great stories and has a good sense of humor.
I believe having a true commitment to my students and possessing a sense of humor make teaching rewarding. I strive to make a positive impact on each student every day.
We at Mandalay Resort Group are proud to honor dedicated teachers like Nicole Lehman. Her big dreams and hard work have helped her in becoming a successful teacher.
To the list of things that make Dodge Durango just right, add this, your timing. Now get $4,700 in finance savings or $2,500 cash allowance, plus factory-to-dealer incentives that could save you even more. See, compare, drive, Dodge during the Team Dodge sales event.
The Latin Grammy Awards are moving across the country due to fears of violence. Producers have decided to move the awards show from Miami to Los Angeles because they were worried Cuban exile protesters would threaten the safety of those attending. The Great Western Forum will be the new site of the ceremony. The mayor of Miami isn't too happy about the decision, but says he plans to have the city prepared for next year's telecast.
Actress Angelina Jolie will soon become the United Nations' latest celebrity ambassador. Officials say that next week, Jolie will be appointed a Goodwill Ambassador at an event at UN headquarters in Geneva. Last month, she visited Cambodia with the UN Children's Fund. The group works with displaced people and refugees who have returned to the country.
College and partying. Some might argue the two go hand in hand.
Find out how UNLV stacks up to other colleges. Next on First News 3 at 4, where news comes first.
It's family fun for everyone.
Welcome to Hollywood Square's Bring Your Sibling to Work Week. This is my Siamese twin and littermate, Jeff.
Watch Nick and Drew Lachey from 98 Degrees, Holly Robinson Pete and her brother Matt, and Rachel Lee Cook and her brother Ben.
Wonder Twin powers, activate.
Plus country group Shadaisy.
Turn on the TV, check out Sibling Week.
This isn't just a game, it's an adventure.
Watch Hollywood Squares this afternoon at 4:30 only on Channel 3.
Get a new look at Ross.
Girl, look at you. Somebody's been shopping, looking good. You like it? It was
That's so cute. So is that. I've been looking for those jeans. Oh, I just got it. They're great. Thanks.
The exact same clothes you'll find at the mall are at Ross for way less.
Hey, let's go shopping. Ross?
I'm there.
Hey.
Ross, much more than low prices.
If you're looking for a truck engineered to out-tow Tundra, an SUV with more horsepower than Expedition, or a compact pickup with a smooth Z85 suspension, the proof is at the pros. Now get 0% APR financing on Sierra half-ton extended cab or $2,500 cash back on Sonoma. See dealer for residency and other restrictions. Upgrade to professional grade with these great incentives. The proof is at the pros. See your participating GMC dealers.
When these children come into the emergency department, the parents are devastated.
It's not only devastating to the child, it's devastating to the entire family.
It's usually a very healthy, active child who at one moment in time has undergone a dramatic change.
The children that have experienced a near drowning incident are among the most difficult.
Every single drowning is 100% preventable.
Constant adult supervision is the answer.
You know, the beauty of a show like mine is that it lives in the moment. And one act of compassion or caring can change a life forever.
Montel Williams, weekdays at 11 only on Channel 3.
It is that time of year again. The Princeton Review has come out with its annual list of top party colleges. This year, the University of Tennessee gets the top honor, if you can call it that. The Princeton ranking is based on the survey where students rate their own schools in the areas of beer and liquor consumption, marijuana use, fraternity and sorority activity, and low study hours. Well, there's something to brag about. Falling from #1, Louisiana State University got the #2 ranking this year, followed by the University of California, Santa Cruz, Florida State University, and the University of Colorado. Now, the list only included the top 20 schools, and UNLV did not make the list. Congratulations.
Do they use that in recruiting?
We did have a top 20 party school here. Yeah.
We'll be right back.